Baptist Eatonton, when we came into this church, what a blessing to be able to work for these guys. This was like a complete redo. This stage ended about here. They were extending it all the way out to here, and that was the least of the worries. They had their own carpenter come in and do the work here. Now, the idea is they wanted traditional and a contemporary service, which is a hard mixture of overlay because of what has to happen in this world right here. Now, let's start with video. In the video world, we did 6,000 lumens of power. This is a 15-foot screen. That's 5-foot screen, motorized. If you look at the detail on the top, this is where my boy Kenny came in, and basically we had to cut and flush this screen in, so when the screen is up, you don't have that typical screen carriage that shows up across the top where the trim is. Super nice. Now, the way this is set up is we did ProPresenter, which is one of the very best software packages out there, and this has a rear screen I'm sure you're seeing a cutaway of now. The coolest part about this is it allows me to put messages in the back with a different message in the front. As an example, they had a gentleman up here, their pastor up here, whose mic wasn't on, and during the service he looked up and it said, "Turn your mic on," which I think is super cool. What a great thing. So basically you can do two different things, and the way the church gets to see all the cool graphics and that stuff, and then back it's all business, as you can see how that works in your time of worship. Now, up here we did flush mount boxes. You're seeing the cutaway of the boxes now. The newest boxes that we do allow us to put power and 1/4 inch and XLRs all in the same box, and you can flush them into the stage, provided you did it like they did, where you have a way to get up under the stage to do your service work. Now, it has digital snakes from Behringer, one on each side of the stage, that allows us to run 32 channels of sound up to the booth, which we'll get to in just a second. Now, the next cutaway is the good stuff, the gravy. Inside up here, which this is kind of where the Leslie, or where all the organ material went back in the day, if you want to say it like that, we have JBL's Pro line array. They are absolutely top of the line, best that money can buy. We have 2 for the congregation, and then back here where the choir and where the band is, there's 2 inside here that fires in for sound. They have dual control. They have an amplifier for here, they have an amplifier for there with different sound. The next cutaway you're seeing is underneath the stage. We have an 18-inch, 1,000-watt subwoofer that gives you the bass that you want to feel. It's completely mutable. What that means is, guess what? If we have a 9 o'clock service and it's all traditional, they may not want that boom, but when you come in at 11 and it's contemporary, they want to feel the boom, the bass of the music. It's super cool. We did mics galore up here, which I'll show you when we get into the sound booth, and then we came in and we tuned this whole church. So in the realm of things, this is, I know I say this a lot, this is truly as good as it gets, and it allows you to have any type of sound you want, all the way down to the lighting having its own control. Wait till you see the sound booth. It is awesome. All right, upstairs, up in the balcony, this is where everything is controlled from. It's nice, and we have so many folks that'll do a sound system in a church, and they'll put them in a big box with a room and a glass window, and they can't hear what's going on. So what's cool about this is you really do get the gist of anything that goes right or wrong, if there's such a thing that goes both ways. Now, what we did is, this is the new Behringer. Behringer has taken a new turn, has gone towards a pro series of mixers. They've always kind of been more entry level, but now with the new digital stuff called X32, this has full control. So he literally has presets for his traditional and for his contemporary service. One button, all the sliders, everything, even the EQ bass can all change with just one button. So there's nobody actually having to take a rocket science degree to be able to get this thing turned on and enjoy it. From the standpoint of scripture, ProPresenter runs through the Apple 21.5 that we supplied with these guys. Of course, it's keyboard driven, and we did an Apple Extreme router so that they could have Wi-Fi throughout the whole sanctuary. This gives them a lot of control. So if they use an Apple TV, they can stream anything from YouTube. They can stream anything to their video piece, which is up there. Remember, they have a 15-foot screen. Of course, you would want to use it for more than just graphics, right? They do have a way to record their services. All their wireless mics are banked here, and it's nice. There are light controllers here. They have flush LEDs in the ceiling that give them full control. So they can have their standard congregational lighting, and then they can go to their contemporary lighting, totally different world control from this basis right here. Everything is set up through Surge. Now, what you don't see here is amplifiers. I'm going to show you their amplifier right next, where we mounted everything in that direction. You will love it. This, folks, is the idea behind this is to have this much technology and it not be, like I said, rocket science to enjoy it. I was just talking with Daniel, which he's their guru up here that knows everything and anything about the equipment, and he was just talking about all the niceties of the product, but what he didn't say is, I just can't figure out. He never started a sentence with, I just can't figure out, and that's the way it's done. Awesome. All right, because of power consumption, because of heat, what we did is we located all the amplifiers in the top. This is kind of the old organ area, and the idea behind that is, A, they have a place to breathe. We put a sequencer, so when they turn everything on up in the booth, it turns on the rack here. As you can see here, we got plenty of room, plenty of ventilation. EV EQ there with up to 30 bands of adjustment there. And then we got 11,000 watts. Yes, 11,000 watts of power tied into a crossover. The idea being is there's no replacement for displacement, is the old adage I've been told all my life by my dad about cars. That is also true when it comes to sound, especially in a church. It's not because it has to play loud all the time. It's because it has to be able to play reliably forever, if that makes sense. Full Yamaha power. I love the way this did. My guys did such a great job in making sure it stayed secure and stayed ventilated. Now, check out the line array. Awesome. In the line arrays, I love the way JBL does these new 70 series line arrays, and the idea is each speaker has 16 tweeters and 5 drivers. I love the way it's set up. We did a dual setup that goes to the congregation, and it has a tilt mechanism here that allows me to go from -15 to a +15 to make sure you kind of got the line array hotspot right if you want to leave it that way. Now this 70 series line array fires straight through this grill here and goes over into for the traditional or for the contemporary, because this is what feeds the choir what they get to hear. Both of these setups are tuned separately with their own amplifier. The idea being that this has to play totally different, feeding 50 people, and versus this feeding 500 people, right? So this is cool, and because of the way JBL does their setup, it literally has a sound dispersion. Most speakers fire like this. This line array fires like this. This is incredible stuff, folks, and if you've got the room in your church to have this, this is the way it's supposed to sound. Wonderful.